Hey there, today I'm gonna explain a survival thriller film that depicts a gangster called Charlie, who gets shot 22 times by some masked assassins hired by a drug lord. But this guy is no pushover. He miraculously survives and determines to exact vengeance. Unfortunately, his mission leads to one of his trusted friends getting killed and his children being kidnapped. While at the funeral of his friend, he sees the bereaved family, and vows to end this once and for all. To make matters worse, the police is also concerned about it, keeping a close eye on their movements. But the cunning gangster finds a way to get rid of them. After some time, he and his crew gather at a remote dockyard to plan their counterattack. It takes a while, but they finally get their hands on someone who was directly involved in the past incidents. Charlie then goes to an abandoned warehouse, where the suspect is tied up and stripped down. Not wanting to risk his life for the boss, the guy spills everything instantly. Next, Charlie storms into a party with a loaded gun and unpinned grenade, ensuring everyone is safe as long as nobody moves. But Charlie is totally unaware of what comes next, neither do the assassins, sitting there carelessly. Terror Recaps welcomes you to 22 Bullets. The movie unfolds with Charlie and his son Anatoly returning from a trip. When they reach the city, Anatoly asks to get out of the car to watch a busker perform. Charlie agrees and says he'll park the car before joining him. Then Charlie drives towards the parking lot, but as he exits the car, some masked men surround his car and start shooting at him. Though he's hit 22 times, Charlie miraculously survives. As he loses consciousness, he recalls a memory from his past, when he was a young man in prison, and receiving advice from an old mobster named Old Timer about life in the criminal world. Old Timer warns him there's no escaping once he gets involved. Charlie is rushed to the hospital where doctors struggle to remove the bullets. On the other side of the story, Tony Tsakia is informed about Charlie's condition and appears to be a powerful and cruel man. The news about Charlie being a retired mobster is broadcasted on TV. Police Captain Marie Goldman takes an interest in the case and visits the crime scene. As Charlie is in surgery, we see another flashback to his past, where he and his friends, Tony and Kareem, vow to avenge Old Timer's murder by killing rival mobster Hernandez. This marks their journey into the Mafia world. The story continues with Police Captain Marie Goldman ignoring her superior's request to leave the case alone, due to Charlie being a former mobster. Instead, she continues her investigation, driven by her desire to uncover the person responsible for her husband's death. She visits Charlie in the hospital, but he remains tight-lipped during her questioning. Back at her home, as she tucks her son into bed that night, she receives an ominous phone call, causing her to spend the rest of the night drinking and grieving her husband's death. On the other hand, Kareem decides to take revenge for Charlie's shooting, while Charlie's lawyer Martin suggests patience and protection for Charlie. However, a man disguised as a medical staff sneaks into the hospital and shoots someone in Charlie's room. It turns out, the patient is not Charlie as Marie had transferred him to a different room beforehand. The next day, Marie sets up a surveillance team outside the hospital and witnesses Tony Tsakia visiting Charlie. Tony expresses his relief that Charlie is alive and warns him through a greeting card that the police are monitoring him. Later, Kareem and Martin visit Charlie and take him with them, leading Marie to follow their car. Kareem quickly realizes they're being followed and speeds up, asking a friend for help. Charlie and Kareem go to an old warehouse where one of Tony's men is being held. Charlie tries to assure the man that he won't be hurt as long as he cooperates, but the man reveals that Tony wants Charlie dead for retiring from their drug business and leaving Tony to run it on his own. He further informs that Tony is afraid that Curly will someday stand in his way. Charlie is shocked to hear this, but Kareem suggests he should kill Tony. However, Charlie is conflicted because Tony is his best friend and they made an oath when they were young. That night, Kareem is kidnapped by Tony's men and before he gets killed, one of his fingers is cut off, and then sent to his family as a warning. Charlie is devastated and attends Kareem's funeral, where he witnesses his family grieving. He decides to take vengeance and asks Pat to take his family to safety. That night, Tony's men are having a dinner party, but Charlie interrupts. He holds a loaded gun in one hand and an unpinned grenade in the other, ensuring everyone is safe as long as nobody moves. He gives them one last chance to say goodbye to their loved ones. He then shoots one of the men who he recognizes as one of the shooters. Charlie walks away with the power of intimidation, leaving the rest of the men in fear. The following day, one of Tony's men visits the gravesite of the dead crew just as Charlie arrives and kills him. Recognizing the threat, Tony orders his men to raid Charlie's home in search of him and his family, but they come up empty. Meanwhile, Charlie is relaxing with his cat on the other side of town. Martin, Charlie's lawyer, arrives at Charlie's house to find it ransacked and hurries to inform Charlie. Unbeknownst to Martin, one of Tony's men follows him to Charlie's hideout and soon both are surrounded. Charly fights off Tony's men while Martin tries to escape by boat, but he's caught and cornered. Charly makes a getaway on his motorcycle, but rams into a police car. He gets taken into custody and reunited with Captain Marie Goldman. In the interrogation room, Marie tells Charly that she found evidence that one of the 5 shooters did not intend to kill him. She decides not to arrest Charly, as she believes Tony Tsakia is behind her husband's murder. That night, Tony is celebrating his daughter's wedding while Charly is outside his house, capturing one of his men and forcing him to reveal Tony's current drug transactions. When Tony finds out, he becomes furious and orders his men to capture Charly dead or alive. The next morning, Pat is picking up Charly's children from school when a van pulls up and kidnaps Anatoly and Eva. Marie arrives too late to intervene. Soon after, the police locate Eva and bring her to the station. With bruises and injuries, she informs them that little Anatoly will be killed unless Charly surrenders himself. As Captain Marie leaves the station, Charly jumps into her car and asks for her help in creating a fake news story that Charly has been arrested. This will hopefully deter Tony from searching for him and releasing his son. Charly promises to surrender once he gets his son back. Marie agrees to assist. However, when Tony hears about Charly's supposed arrest, he gets even more angry and orders one of his henchmen to kill Anatoly. Unaware, Charly follows the henchman to where Anatoly is being held captive. Inside the house, another one of Tony's men is guarding Anatoly and is instructed to kill him. But instead, the guard rushes to free Anatoly. Meanwhile, Charly is struggling to free himself from barbed wire outside. The henchman put Anatoly in the trunk and drives away, only to be confronted and beaten by Charly. After Charly brings Anatoly back home, he tells his wife that they are no longer in danger as he has taken care of Tony's henchman. The next day, Tony is relaxing at home when Charly shows up. Despite everything that had happened, Charly is willing to put their past behind for the sake of their friendship. But Tony, who is now power hungry, still wants to get rid of Charly. He points a gun at Charly's face and pins him to the ground. However, Charly takes advantage of Tony's distraction and overpowers him. The police arrives just in time and arrest Tony for running a drug ring. Charly has helped Captain Marie gather enough evidence to prove Tony's guilt. When Charly is questioned by the police, they don't find any evidence linking him to the drug trade and have to release him. Outside the police station, Charly meets Martin and asks to be taken to the parking lot where he was shot. When they arrive, Charly discovers that Martin was the one who shot at the wall instead of him. Feeling betrayed, Charly points his gun at Martin, but Martin explains that Tony only told him to kill someone without specifying who. He was shocked to learn it was Charly and couldn't bring himself to do it. Charly, in appreciation for Martin's actions, fires several shots on the ground. The story ends with Charly and his family enjoying a day at the beach, walking off into the sunset happily. Thanks for being with us.